I'm Seth Payne. Hey, I'm Eric Trundy.
Hey, I'm Brendan Crozier.
Those stories and Mickey Rooney tonight on Never Been Happier, the 12-minute podcast.
Dick Williams. All right, cool. All right, dude. Welcome to the 12-minute podcast. I appreciate it. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. Answer whatever you want, and whatever you don't want to, go fuck yourself. What's your favorite sound?
Favorite sound?
Yeah. Like it's a sound you wouldn't mind hearing every day.
The like Lego Star Wars Yoda death sound.
Really?
Yeah.
It's so specific.
Yeah.
How come?
So the first thing that popped into my head was Vine Boom, but then I picked something that was a little more, personal to me.
Yeah.
You Lego guy?
What was it?
You're a Lego guy?
I would get Legos when I was younger, but I didn't have the
sets.
wherewithal to put them all together. So I would play with the minifigures mostly.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Even with the instructions, you weren't putting them together?
Nah.
Do you ever think about doing it as an adult?
No.
How come?
I just didn't like it. I just liked the actual figures better.
You like the
I
figures?
was more of a wrestlers guy than Legos, yeah.
When did you start liking wrestling?
Started liking literally as far back as I can remember. Because
Yeah.
my dad was a wrestling fan. So
Hell yeah. We went to Sting's last match 2 nights ago.
yeah.
Yeah, in Greensboro. It was pretty great. At the bottom of the screen here, we're going to call you. It's going to say your name. What would you like us to call you? We'll call you anything you want. What would you like us to say?
Just like a nameplate?
Anything you want.
Brendan Crozier.
Brendan Crozier?
Yeah.
All right, very cool. What's the earliest wrestling memory you have?
Earliest wrestling memory I have?
Yeah, what's the first one?
So I remember being a really little kid, and I saw I think it was probably SmackDown that my dad took me to, and I remember being at the Wachovia Center before it was the Wells Fargo Center, and Chris Jericho had a cage match against Tomko, and I remember being so tired that I just made my dad take me home right before the main event, which was Shawn Michaels and Triple H. So
how old are you?
I don't remember how old I was. I might have been in kindergarten, first grade.
Did your dad break your balls about that one?
No, that's one of the things where growing up, I was like, wow, my dad really, that was this huge sacrifice my dad made for me.
Shawn Michaels and Triple H.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, at the time.
I never saw them again.
Just a couple of the all-time greats. Yeah, I mean, so you and your dad bonded over wrestling?
I'd say so, yeah.
Is that the biggest, how much conversation do you have with your dad?
So my dad and I have a lot of conversation about wrestling, and about UFC, and they go exactly the same way. Where
Okay.
I have an opinion that my dad doesn't like, and I know that, and I'll argue with my friends.
Yeah.
A lot, and we'll just argue back and forth. My dad doesn't do that, but I'm also too old for my dad to just tell me to shut up.
Right.
So I'm just pissing off my dad all the time with
new thoughts.
I'm telling him about how great CM Punk is, and he
Right.
gets really mad about it. Yeah.
Your dad's not a CM Punk guy?
No.
I think he's wrong. I'm with you.
But
Big
you
CM
just went to go see the Young Bucks live, though.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit, dude. I'll go
Yeah.
see the Young Bucks. I'll see anybody. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm not taking any. I don't know what happened in those rooms. You know what I'm saying? I'm not taking any sides. How much conversation do you have with your dad that doesn't involve wrestling or UFC?
The rest
Your
of it.
voice went.
Yeah. It was not without wrestling and UFC. The rest of it is just me blowing up my dad's phone after I'm done work.
Gotcha.
I would call my dad and talk to him on the phone a lot.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Hell yeah.
My new porn joke's doing really well. Is what I said.
Yeah. And he's just proud. He's like, I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah. I wish you would have let me see Shawn Michaels and Triple H. What's the best advice you've ever gotten about anything?
Man, advice that I got from somebody. I'm not. I can't think of anything off the top
How
of my
old were
head.
you? What's the most interesting year you've ever had in your life?
It's got to be
What age was the most interesting to you? Which one's like, that's the year I was me?
It might have honestly been last year.
Which was
2023. Well, so that would make me.
That would make me 2023.
Yeah. No, I was. So how old am I now? I would have been 25.
Okay, so 25 is a pivotal year for you.
Okay, yeah. 25 was probably the biggest year.
Big decisions, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you could right now go back and talk to 24-year-old you.
Okay. Oh man.
For 30 seconds, kind of advice what would you say?
You'll be all right.
You'll be all right.
Yeah. Yeah. There's two. I don't.
Yeah. You would just show up and you would be like,
I would give him a look. I'd be like, I would shrug my shoulders, and I feel like he'd get it.
And then he would just get it.
He'd be like, oh shit, man.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. God,
It's like, no.
Yeah. It's gonna be one of those, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. But you made it. You're doing good. So if 25 was, if it was a kind of the most pivotal age, is it? How come? Was it like a growth thing? What did you find out? What did you learn? What happened that makes it clearly stand out to you as
25? I mean, me being 25 is almost the entirety of when I've been doing stand up. So I like started like a month before I turned 25, and then it's just been like an interesting kind of experience since then, because I've tried a lot of more like out there kind of things.
Define
like
interesting.
Like I like playing guitar, entering bands. I used to play in competitive like video game tournaments and stuff like that, and this has been the one that I've like taken to the most.
Yeah.
So
what are the things that have happened since you started that are the things that are those interesting things that you just love?
I think a lot about starting in Richmond and being terrified every time I would like leave the house to go to an open mic and like meet strangers, where I'd just be like rocking back and forth in like the shower before I would show up, and then just seeing the kind of huge.
And what was the anxiety about? Was it more about the people? Was it how is the stuff gonna go, or both? Right? Because now you have to enter into a new relationship with a bunch of new people and fucking suffer it in front of them at the same time.
Well, entering a new relationship, I started doing it in the middle, like while I was dealing with a breakup with a girl that I was with for a while we were still living together. And I was like, well, that relationship was like the only thing that I kind of cared about. And I was like, well, now I need to find at least something new to kind of, dedicate effort towards.
Right.
So I was in the middle of trying to piece all these different like work and like social kind of like friendship issues together, and then that on top of that, and then being in a scene like Richmond's, which is like not as it's not as like not as friendly to newer people.
Okay.
I feel like.
Yeah, I understand. I think there's a lot of comedy scenes that are not as friendly to newer people, just because new people show up all the time and then they're fucking gone. You don't know who. You know what I mean? It does get to be like that, but it is tough when you look at it. It's so intimidating to come into. So you get through the first year, and that's last year. What's like, what's next now? What are the hurdles that you're going at now?
This has been going on since 2021, but I do a pretty good job of just kind of like documenting like expectations and like how each kind of month goes, like day by day. So I have like sometimes it's like things that I want to accomplish. Like I need to do my taxes by the end of this week or this month, or I need to get this figured out with my car. Or I want to like maybe go to the gym this many times. And sometimes it's just like, I want to have like no more than this many energy drinks this month.
Yeah.
And but I in that same vein, I've taken a lot of like notes, I guess, and I have a lot of like information about how many like mics, how much time I've done.
Okay.
Like, every
so you got
month
data.
So far. Yeah, I have a lot of data.
Yeah. And if you don't write those things down, you just forget about them and they're not on the table. So, and are you easily distracted?
I don't know. I think I don't even know if I'd say that. I think one of the things that kind of motivates me is like having time go by and then having like this like giant wall of text almost that I can look at and be like, oh, okay, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
I did get something.
Because I
down.
do remember a lot of things, like even if I didn't have it all written down.
Have you always been like list oriented?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah. Good for you. It's a good skill to have. You know what I mean? Last question. I'll let you get out of here.
Gotcha.
Do you love yourself?
I'd say so. Yeah.
Yeah. How?
What do you mean?
Like, I'm trying to figure that shit out, and so I like asking people if they love themselves, because to me it seems like really hard work. I don't understand really how to do it.
I don't know. I was raised. I feel like the way I was raised, kind of. I have like there's like a core of just like molten ego at the center of me that is I lost my train of thought.
No, it's okay.
Oh, good answer.
That was a good answer. Yeah, never get rid of that fucking core of whatever it is that your parents gave you.
Whereas, like, I feel like it was more like narcissistic when I was younger, and then I've like matured more. But it's like I never really lost the core, like
Yeah. Why do you think it was narcissistic?
Because I used to be more like mean to other people at the same time, and I used to like look down on people more.
Same.
Yeah.
And then what is it that snaps you out of that?
I feel like just because it was also something I had to
10 seconds,
reconcile.
no pressure.
I had to reconcile a lot because I would say, I was good, but I also thought very highly of my friends. So I would have to mentally raise my friends to that level in my head, and then
empathy.
Yeah.
Thanks, dude. All right, that's that.
All right, cool.
All right, appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
That's the one.
Here's your me.